Greetings. Today, the mood of the day continues in airy Aquarius, getting outside of the box, shifting into new thinking, especially the thinking of the future. So today we're going to talk about some techniques to use for how to tap into the thinking of the future. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Tuesday, March 25th. We are in the midst of changing energy, changing times, things shifting and moving, old things dissolving and breaking down, new things really being at the very early seed stages. And so today's Aquarius Moon, which reminds us to get outside of the box, right? Aquarius is about breaking free. It is about getting outside of old molds, old habits and patterns. And what is that? That is the thinking of the past. So we are very accustomed to thinking about things in the context of how we understand them from what we know, which is all coming from the past, right? What we know comes from the past. What we do not know comes from the future. And where is the future is up for grabs, right? It is unwritten. So how do we write that future? How do we claim that future? How do we get outside of the thinking of the past to help us be who we need to be and think the ways that we need to think to claim those future scenarios that we want to live, we want to experience? So that's why Aquarius is about a vision for the future. And it's a perfect time to really get into this future oriented thinking. So how do you do that? One way to do it is to really imagine yourself in the future as a thought exercise. Put yourself 1 year, 5 years, 10 years into the future, as far as you really can go. Or maybe try some different versions of it to see how it feels. But in many ways, the farther out you can go, the more you can imagine, because it's easier to imagine something really crazy or wild happening in 10 years. It's harder to imagine it happening in 1 year. So when you allow your vision, your imagination for the scenarios of the future that you want to call in, take it really out there, because that allows you to open your mind to expand to possibilities that may seem out of reach right now. So this exercise is to put yourself in that future place and to ask yourself, how would things be working right now in my ideal world? And recognize that the it's wide open. So, and right now in the present moment, things are changing, things are shifting, things are moving in new directions that we don't fully understand. So what does it look like if you imagine not only to feel okay, right? I think I think a lot of what we're sort of yearning for in the present moment is this feeling of comfort and security. I just want to know that things are going to be okay. But the downside of feeling okay is that you kind of lose touch with that sense of infinite possibility, of creative possibility. So when you do this exercise to put yourself into the future, imagine yourself in the future, you can think about things in terms of, what do I really want? Not just what's going to make me feel okay, what's going to make me feel less frightened or more secure, but what do I want in my wildest dreams, in my wildest imagination of how I want things to be, and not feeling limited by what I expect or what I know or what has made me feel safe in the past. But to put yourself in that place in the future, as far out as you are willing to go, I would suggest 10 years, because I think that's a reasonable amount of time to imagine, but also it's pretty far, right? A lot could change and happen in 10 years. So, and if you're young, that may seem like forever, but I guarantee you it is not forever. So imagine yourself 10 years in the future. What would you like things to look like? What would you do differently? How would you have the world experience differently for yourself, for others? What matters to you, right? Because it might matter to you how things unfold for your family, or you might be more tuned into what happens for humanity and the world and some of the things that you'd like to see changing for the world. So maybe do it for your personal life and for humanity. I don't know, go wild, have fun with this. But imagine yourself in that future scenario and write it out as a journal exercise or sit in nature and let yourself just kind of imagine, or maybe meditate and sort of let thoughts or images drift in and out, things that when you really open to them, what would it look like? What would it feel like? Because today's moon in Aquarius is the energy that helps us to connect with these new future possibilities, and our ability to imagine, to dream, to vision the future is the first step to creating that future, right? The future you want. And it's not about being attached to the specific story of how you see things. It's about noticing what are the qualities that you find are actually really important to you. What feels important? What problems get solved? What do those solutions look like? What kind of thinking is necessary to create those solutions, right? What kind of cooperation, collaboration, imagination, community building, education, right? The sky is the limit. So, what kinds of things will help you imagine that future, and what becomes not just necessary, but what actually enables that future to be, because that gives you an idea of how to move forward, right? How to move forward from this moment, knowing that you have 10 years to create that. What would you start with? Where would you start? What would that look like? What would you do, or what direction would you choose for your life? What decisions would you make, etc.? So I don't know what those answers are for you, but this is a perfect time to really connect with the thinking of the future. So hopefully this exercise is something that can help you do that, or at least unlock some different ways of thinking for yourself to help to manifest and create, and also see how you would do things in the present that is based on the future rather than being based on the past and what you know and how things have worked in the past, or worked or not worked, or what was dysfunctionally functional. You know what I mean? So, what would it look like for things to actually work better? Get outside the box, open your mind to new possibilities and new ways of thinking, because what could happen in the future is really wide open. So, how can you be an active participant in creating that future that excites you, inspires you, moves you to make decisions or take action in the present moment as we head into this week's Aries solar eclipse? That is the beginning of a time period where we are focused on action. We'll have a moon cycle focused on Aries action, courage, will, drive, movement, as well as many other astrological indicators that go on for quite a long time. So Neptune moving into Aries and some other things that I spoke to over the weekend in my Sunday video. So check that out if you missed it, and we'll be talking about it more as we head into this Aries solar eclipse, potent, powerful time of shift, of activation, of new beginnings, and of moving things in new directions. So today's Aquarius Moon, perfect opportunity to get clear for yourself about what you want. All right, thanks for being here. I'm Marina Orms, and you can learn more about me and how to work with me at astrologyheals.com. Check out my guided meditations, readings, and more. Books I've written, lots of things to check out about how to work with these astrological energies to get the most out of your life, right? Your precious lifetime that should not be wasted on going in the wrong direction. So help use the tools of astrology to help get yourself pointed in the right direction, get the most out of it, be your best self, and live into your highest, most brilliant, limitless potential. All right, so thank you for subscribing. I so appreciate it, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.